Welcome everybody, Bruchim Habayim to the weekly Kabbalah Café. A special Yasher Koach to Mordechai and Raya and Tzedchem L'Shalom. Good vacation. Yasher Koach. This makes it that it becomes a global share in your honor. Baruch Hashem. Thank you very much. L'chaim.
Mazal tov on your in the wedding.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So in this week's parsha, we learned something very interesting about Moshe Rabbeinu, how he was Ohev Yisroel. אנחנו לומדים משה רבנו שעד כמה שהוא היה אוהב כל יהודי, רואים את זה כל כך בנקודה רגישה ובנקודה מדהימה. והדבר הזה מתחבר גם שאתמול היה יורצייט של הרבי, ומכאן אנחנו לומדים מהמשה רבנו הראשון שהוא היה עד כמה ההתמסרות שלו לעם ישראל. We're going to learn a very interesting perspective on how we find from Moshe Rabbeinu, who's the leader of the generation, and every generation has a Moshe, like it says in the Zohar. And so by divine providence that yesterday was Gimel Tammuz, was the Rebbe's Yahrzeit, so we'll also try to see connected to the first Moshe Rabbeinu and see how tremendous was his dedication to Am Yisrael. There's the famous story, the reason why Moshe Rabbeinu did not go into Eretz Yisrael. מדוע משה רבנו לא נכנס לארץ ישראל? כתוב בפרשה, משום שהיה לך הזדמנות להקדישני, לעשות קידוש שם שמיים ולדבר על הסלע ויוציא את מימיו, ולא עשית את זה. שלום אלכס. אוקיי, אז למדנו שמשה רבנו, הקדוש ברוך הוא, אנחנו מדברים, שומעים זה? תודה רבה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. אמן. אז למדנו שמשה רבנו בעצם היה מיד אחרי שמרים הנביאה נפטרה, והיה צורך שיהיה מים לעם ישראל. אז אמר משה רבנו פנה לקדוש ברוך הוא אמר לו, ודיברתם אל הסלע והוציא מימיו. מה עשה משה רבנו? משה הלך ודיבר, אבל הסלע לא הוציא, אז הוא הבין שאולי זה לא הסלע הנכון. אז הוא הלך מסלע לסלע, ועד שהוא הבין שאולי הקדוש ברוך הוא רוצה שהוא גם יכה, כמו שהיה בפרשת בשלח, שכתוב בהכיתה בצור, אבל פה הייתה טעות הדרמטית. הוא היה אמור ללכת אחרי הקדוש ברוך הוא עד הנקודה האחרונה. זה בדיוק מה שהשם אמר, ודיברתם על הסלע. מכיוון שהוא היכה, אז אתה לא נכנס לארץ ישראל, כי יכולת לקדש את שם ברת.
אבל הוא ניסה?
מה? הוא ניסה, כן, לפי המדרש הוא ניסה. כן. So the story is, at first it talks about that Miriam passed away, but Miriam, besides being the tremendous tzidkani that she was, she also, in her zechut, Am Yisrael had water. There was the Be'er Shel Miriam, the well of Miriam. The moment that she passed away, then the water stopped coming from Yisrael. So Moshe turns to Hashem and he asks Hashem for a bracha that we should have water. So Hashem says, no problem, speak to the rock and the rock will give water. So the Medrash says that he did speak to a rock and then it did not give water. So he felt that maybe it was the wrong rock. So he spoke to a different rock. He went around and it says that not the exact word in English, the Leitzanei Hador, there were people that were, I think it's called a scoffer, people that just like to ridicule and to laugh. And so the Leitzanei Hador, they said, oh, Moshe is going from stone to stone and he doesn't even know what he's doing and he's trying to take on Yisroel to the Bamidbar. I mean, it's so Moshe was humble. And he said, maybe Hashem wants me to hit the rock, just like he told me to hit the rock in Parshat Beshalach right after the crossing of the Yam Suf. But that was his critical mistake. His mistake was that Hashem said you should talk to the rock, and at any cost, it was expected of him that he should have done that. So we want to understand really what was such a big mistake that Moshe did. Why was it so bad? Okay, true, he didn't do exactly the way Hashem said it. But why did he get such a severe punishment? הרי אנחנו יודעים בפרשת ואתחנן שמשה רבנו התחנן ב-515 תפילות להיכנס לארץ ישראל. Moshe Rabbeinu, one of his greatest wishes was to go into Eretz Yisrael. Right before he passed away, he davened 515 prayers.
Why was it so worried?
I think today maybe we can understand them more than ever. But for hundreds of years, Am Yisrael knew that Eretz Yisrael is the best place. After all, we were supposed to go through the Yam Suf, get the Torah, and go right into Eretz Yisrael. It was supposed to be very quick. Unfortunately, with the story of the Meraglim and the spies, but that was the whole goal. We even in the As Yashir Moshe, we say Tivi Emo, Tita Emo, Bahar Nachalatcha, Machom L'Shitcha Pa'alta Hashem, Mikdash Hashem Konu Yadecha. We were supposed to go right into Eretz Yisrael. We were supposed to build the Beit HaMikdash right away, and that would be wonderful. There's no better scenario than that. So Moshe Rabbeinu, this was his main goal, his main life's wish. He was waiting for this opportunity. So, unfortunately, it wasn't exact. Actually, it says, take your staff. So he thought that mateh, so maybe I'm also maybe Hashem also wants me, he didn't tell me to hit the rock, but maybe he wants me to hit the rock. Yes. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know Hashem's plan, but maybe it wasn't the right one. I don't know. He definitely tried. כן.
אני רואה פה בכל זאת אמר שיהיו המורים, מן הסלע הזה נוציא לכם מים. אז זאת אומרת, מה באמת האפשרות? הוא הטיל ספק? למי הוא אמר מן הסלע הזה תוציא לכם מים? זו שאלה. זאת אומרת, לפי ההסבר שלך יש לי פה קצת סתירה. זה מופיע שם.
כן, יכול להיות שלא היה הסלע נכון.
מה? הוא אמר את זה להם, למורים, שמונה ומורים.
כן.
מן הסלע הזה נוציא לכם מים. יש כאן, האם אין פה חטא גם בעצם העניין שהוא דיבר אליהם? ואמר, נתן ספק, מן הסלע הזה נוציא לכם מים?
עוד מעט אנחנו נראה
אתה נתת הסבר בגלל ליצני הדור והכל, אבל נגד זה יש פה שאלה.
שאלה טובה. כן, yes.
He said something like, do I have to bring, like he said, do I have to bring
That's what Moshe just said. Amin hasela hazeh, notzi lachem mayim.
And then when Hashem gave him the thing that he couldn't go into that, he said, you didn't sanctify me in front of the people. So do some commentary say it's because of the words he said.
So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to wrap up this whole thing by an amazing interpretation, which hopefully will set the tone. You'll have a beautiful Dvar Torah to say over for Shabbos, because this is really, it's very hard to understand, and we try our best to try to make sense as much as we can.
What's his question?
The question was that it seems to be that Moshe's response to the people who were mocking, that it seems to be as if he questioned, are we really going to take on water from this cellar? I think that he was very what's the word? Disappointed, and the better word is metuskal. Very Hamorim. Morim. That's Morim. אז ישנם כמה הסברים על מה שמשה רבינו עשה. גם בטעות וגם בסיבה למה הוא עשה את זה. So I'm not sure if it's we'll try to quote a couple of interpretations of what was going on over here. So I don't know if we're going to understand everything at the end, but at least hopefully we'll have some kind of insight, hopefully more than that, into this very interesting scenario. The Abarbanel says, "Lo yachol liyot שזה רק הסיבה הזאת." It can't be that it's just because of the fact that he didn't only talk to the rock, he also hit the rock, and that's why he can't go into Eretz Yisrael. It can't be that that's the only reason. True, he didn't listen to the end, what Hashem said, but still, it's hard to... יש כל מיני, יש 13 הסברים. אנחנו לא ניכנס לכל הדברים, כמה נקודות. הרמב"ם אומר משהו מאוד מעניין, שכעס זה דבר אסור. אולי זה גם מסביר את מה שאמרת. כעס יכול להביא אדם לדרגה מאוד ירודה. וכעס זה יכול להיות אולי מתוך תסכול, אבל תכלס משה רבינו התעצבן על זה שהוא לא הצליח לקיים את רצון השם. אבל אם יש לנו תנועה של שמחה וחיוביות, אז אנחנו יכולים בעזרת השם כן לכוון למה שהשם רוצה. Sometimes we try to fulfill a certain shlichut from Hashem. Everybody has a mission. Every day, every moment, we have a mission that Hashem gives us in the world. So, Moshe Rabbeinu has a mission to talk to the rock. Bamidbar talk to the rock. But he's not successful, and he tries. And he becomes frustrated. That's the word I was looking for. He becomes frustrated, not just disappointed. It's really, and until it seems to be that he develops some kind of anger. And sort of, we expected Moshe Rabbeinu to control himself a little better. Who are we to judge Moshe Rabbeinu, especially with tremendous pressure that he had? We've been a nation of complainers ever since then, and he took everything on his shoulders. So, but the fact that he was a little bit impatient, if we can say so. חוסר הסבלנות. כנראה למשה רבינו, גדול מנהיגי העולם, אולי, קשה להגיד את המילים האלה, אין מה לעשות. אולי היינו מצפים ממנו קצת יותר סבלנות. Yes, Mrs. Lynn. I thought you wanted to ask something. I know body language. Don't tell everybody my secrets.
Maybe he thought he misunderstood Hashem.
Could be.
And Hashem said maybe he means this. Wasn't doing it purposely.
Of course. It's right. Because it's hard for me to say these words. Who am I to judge Moshe Rabbeinu? I'm just telling you what it says. The Rambam could say it, but at the end we're going to say something very beautiful, which is going to hopefully give a really nice. The Rambam says that. Yeah, not in the Yad HaChazaka, where that's the halachot. In another sefer, Shmone Prakim LaRambam. There's a sefer called 8 chapters of the Rambam, and over there he talks about all kinds of very interesting subjects. This is one of them.
כנראה שממנו, מהגדולה שלו, הוא הקפיד הרבה יותר מאשר מאדם רגיל, בגלל הגדולה שלו.
כך כתוב.
גדלה כקטנה. אז למרות שזה אולי דבר קטן מאוד, אבל בגלל הגדולה שלו, היה אסור לך לעשות את הטעות הזו. דווקא בגלל זה.
כתוב שצדיק זה כמו מעיל לבן. ואחרים זה כמו לצבעים. כל קטן קטן, אפילו הנקודה הכי קטנה, שמים לב. What Moshe was saying is that that tzaddik is like a white shirt, and other people are different color, different levels. When you have a clean slate, then Hashem, the magnifying glass is much greater, and every little iota, every little detail is much more expected that it should be clean. If it's a darker shirt, then you don't really recognize it, so no one really pays attention. So it's a good thing, obviously, to do better and to be more careful. But on the other hand, you have to be extra careful when you're in the public eye and you have big responsibilities. So then Hashem, it's more expected of a person to be that everything should be, it's Moshe Rabbeinu, so we learn from Moshe Rabbeinu, who is the greatest Navi, the greatest prophet, and the greatest leader in Yisroel of all times, how we should learn ourselves, live our own lives in our own way. And we ask Hashem that Hashem should guide us, because it says, Kol HaKohes, Chochmato mistaleket imenu. Someone who gets angry, his wisdom, his insight, unfortunately can leave him. So we have to be very careful, not on any level that we're on, not to not to get too upset, and to try to control our anger and to exercise our patience. It's a big one. And even more, it says, someone who gets angry, it's as if he did idol worship, he worshipped idols. And this really explains, in a very interesting story, when Hashem told Shmuel the Navi to anoint as a king one of Yishai's children. So Shmuel thought that maybe Hashem meant the oldest son, Eliyav. And the prophet explains, gives an image of him that he was very tall and very impressive. And so Shmuel chashav shu Eliyav הכי מתאים למלוכה. הוא לא חלם שאולי מדובר על דוד. David HaMelech, he was the youngest, he was a shepherd, a simple person. So Shmuel thought it was Eliyav. Hashem said, even though Eliyav is matim, is befitting, he will not get the melucha because hatipus shelo haya ka'asan. His nature was that he used to get angry easily. And melucha, to be a melech, especially in Am Yisroel, then you have to have self-control. צריך לדעת איך לטפל.
Be a rabbi of a shul.
To be anything, once your name is like aligned with Hashem's name, and you like made your personality and your identity and your express thing like to further Hashem's goal, then it's not whatever you do is either a Kiddush Hashem or a Hillel Hashem. It's nothing else but that.
It definitely says in Hayom Yom, one of the most powerful. Hayom Yom is an amazing sefer that the Rebbe wrote exactly 80 years ago. The first sefer that the Rebbe wrote when he came to America. The previous Rebbe appointed the Rebbe to write the sefer. Every day a little short paragraph. So just a couple of months ago, it says over there, it's a big responsibility that a rabbi, basically a leader, has a tremendous responsibility, walking a fine line between mizakeh harabim, those that give us chut for the rabbim, which is a huge opportunity to have a positive influence. And God forbid the opposite. Every little thing, you don't even know what you're saying. Sometimes when you say something, what I meant to say is you don't know how people will hear it. So you have to think 100 times, and especially today, much more than ever. We talked last night about social media and Baruch Hashem. So you could think you're talking to people sitting around, and really someone in 2 days is going to see it somewhere in America or China or somewhere far, and you don't know how they're going to understand it. Maybe maybe they speak another language and they just misinterpreted something, and some of them are translated, but some of them are not. So it's a big responsibility. But nonetheless, I believe that the approach needs to be, we have to keep on teaching, we have to keep on saying, we have to try our best. That's what Hashem wants. HaKadosh Baruch Hu ba b'trunim b'riotav. HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts us in situations and we have to do our best. That's what we need to do. But it's definitely a huge responsibility. Yesh od efsharut. מדוע משה רבינו קיבל כזה עונש שהוא לא יכל להיכנס לארץ ישראל. Another option why Moshe Rabbeinu did not merit to go into ארץ ישראל. בדיוק מה שמשה דיבר. זה מהאור החיים ואבן עזרא. הקפצה השם היה שהוא קרא לעם ישראל שימונה המורים. Also you said it. A few of you said it. Morim were the rebels. He called Am Yisrael rebels. You can call him a rebbe, but not a rebel. A rebel. You can call him a rebel. You can't call him a rebel. That's and it's connected to the previous thing. זה קשור למה שאמרנו לפני כן, שהוא היה בחוסר סבלנות, אז אולי קצת, אני מבייש להגיד את זה, אבל אולי קצת התבלבל, אני לא יודע איך להגיד את זה באופן מכובד, אבל הוא איבד את האמון בעם ישראל, וזה כבר כבוד. לפי ערכו של משה רבינו. Moshe Rabbeinu calls the people that were complaining rebels. That's already. I don't want to say the wrong words. We just spoke about not saying the wrong words. You got the point. And one of the most important qualities of Moshe Rabbeinu and any leader that we have in Am Yisrael is to have faith in your people. To have faith in the potential that a person has, as we're going to see in a minute. We talked about, a couple of days ago, we had a big event for Gimel Tammuz in Yisroel. Last night we had in English, 2 days ago, and both were amazing events, Baruch Hashem. I thank you everybody, whoever came. But we talked about that Moshe Rabbeinu is called Ra'aya Mehemna. One interpretation is a faithful shepherd. You can trust him. Ra'aya Mehemna הוא רואה הוא נאמן, רואה נאמן, אבל יש שהוא לוקח את האמונה שיש לנו כבר ועושה את זה יותר חזק. Moshe Rabbeinu nurtures the emunah that we already have. Because he's the Moshe, he's the leader. So Moshe, in every generation, Mordechai, in Purim, in the time of Purim, he takes the emunah, sometimes it might be very, very deep, and he nurtures it and brings it up. So over here there's another interpretation. מה בעצם אומרים פה? הוא לוקח את האמונה מלשון אמון. הוא מסתכל על יהודי ורואה בו את הפוטנציאל. Moshe looks at the Jew and sees what the potential is, what the potential can be and should be for every Jew in the generation. So if Chas v'Shalom there's a scenario which looks at someone without this emun, without this, he calls them a name or morim, rebels, then it's not befitting to minimize in the importance of Ben Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, children of our patriarchs and matriarchs. And this, unfortunately, was a reason, according to some opinions, or Chaim HaKadosh and the Ibn Ezra, it's right here, Ibn Ezra, they have a name after the great tzaddik Ibn Ezra. And this is, you want to go into Eretz Yisrael, you have to live up to a certain level.
Fortunately, these days people are not on the level that they should be. Here on Shabbat, people like restaurants open, people driving on Shabbat.
So we're going to talk about that in a second. Actually, you know what? I can't wait for that. So I'm going to tell the story now. It's an amazing story. It was 11 o'clock at night. הרב הראשי של דניאפוליס אז זה היה איך קראו לעיר הזה אז? האבא של הרב לוי יצחק הוא היה הרב הראשי של אחד הערים הגדולים באוקראינה. זה היה, ושם הרב, זה מדהים, כי שם הרבי גדל. לא, זה רב לוי יצחק אחר. זה שם אחרי רב לוי יצחק. הוא קרוי על שם הסבא שלו, והסבא שלו אחרי רב לוי יצחק. The Rebbe's father had a name after Reb Levi Sibarditchev, and he was the chief rabbi of Dnieper-Petrovsk. Now it's called Dnieper-Petrovsk, or they call it in short Dnieper. But then it had a different name. The name slipped my mind right now. Anyways, it was 11 o'clock at night, and there was a knock at the door. There was a woman that said, she was crying, she said that her daughter and her son-in-law are getting married. They need a rabbi to do the chuppah. The problem is that both of them, both the Chatan and the Kala, were both part of the Communist Party, and it was known that they had a car parked right outside the house of Reb Levi Yitzchak, and they used to make him crazy. They used to make his life miserable. So here you have a test. He could have been locked up for life, and later on he was actually punished, and he passed away in Galut, in exile, unfortunately, in Kazakhstan. But they're not. So they made a quick calculation of how many people they had for the minyan. They had 9 people for the minyan. You need one more person. You need to have 10 people, and the Rambam rules the Chatan min minyan. The Chatan is part of the. I had this question a couple of weeks ago. In any case, it wasn't in Dnieper-Petrovsk. And there was one person, a Jew upstairs, that lived 2 floors on top of Reb Levi Yitzchak, and he was known to be part of the a secret informer. Levi Yitzchak was a proud Rav. Boy, a Rav, Moshe Tzarech. גאה, הוא לא, שום דבר בעולם לא שינה דעתו. Nothing in the world could change. The government tried to impose on him, just like they did with many other rabbis, to approve things that were not really kosher. But let's stick to the story. Reb Levi Yitzchak ala lamala. He went upstairs, he knocked on the door, and he said, there's couple in the middle of the night, it was hush hush, no one was allowed to know about it, and you need a 10th person for the minyan. Can you please come and be part of the minyan? He was shocked that the Reb Levi Yitzchak asked him, he said, Tzarich kazeh ometz, it demands such guts to do such a thing. But when he saw that the Rav was so determined, he said nothing could stop him. And he said, of course I'm coming. This is a very moving chuppah. The Chatan and Kala both covered their faces so that they should not be informed. They were afraid, they were shocked. They were very afraid that someone would inform. But there was something something that gave everybody a great sense of certainty and calm. That was the Rav. At 1:30 at night, everybody had already gone home, except for one person. That was that Jew who was an informer, Shigar Me'al Rav. He gave up his membership in the Communist Party, and he said, Rav, I want to stay with you. That's called Ish Emunah. That's called a leader, a Rav. That's called believing in your people. Having faith, knowing that the chances were very, very slim that he would ever come, and even if he would come, the chances were very high that the Rav would be locked up and everybody else who was there. But the mother of the Chatan, for her it was the most important to have mother of the Kala. She wanted a Jewish wedding. She did in the middle of the night, but Baruch Hashem. ולכן זה הדבר שאנחנו צריכים ללמוד, עד כמה שזה חשוב, עד כמה שזה יקר, how precious it is to have the ability to look deeply into a person's neshama, to try to bring out the beautiful gem that every single person has. יהודי נקרא ארץ חפץ. אנחנו כמו, ככה כתוב בנביא. מה זה ארץ חפץ? ארץ חפץ זה כמו הארץ, האדמה. ברוך הוא רוצה אותנו. יש לו תאווה, יש לו רצון להתחבר אלינו. עכשיו, כשמסתכלים על הארץ, לאו דווקא שרואים ולאו דווקא שמעריכים את היוקר. איפה נמצאים אבנים יקרות? מתחת לאדמה. צריך לזה חוש, לדעת איך אפשר להבין את זה. We need to have a talent in order to be able to recognize where the most precious stones are. Where do you have diamonds? Deep down in the ground. People step on it, basically. Step on the ground. But if you have the right tools, and you have the right approach, and the right feeling, then you're able, hopefully, to realize every yid is so precious. אני מבין, אני ממש מנסה. בסוף הקיץ הזה תביני הרבה. פעם אחת היה סופר אמריקאי שנכנס לרבי ליחידות, והוא טען שרוב בני אדם הם אתאיסטים, השם ירחם. מה ההוכחה? Atheists. He said most people, in his opinion, are atheists. This professor said. מה ההוכחה? תראו איך הם מתנהגים בלי אלוקים, בלי בעל הבית וביר הזוג. הרבי טען שההפך הוא הנכון. רוב האנשים הם מאמינים. רוב בני אדם. רק מה? מדחיקים את האמונה הטבעית. כי חוששים שזה יחייב אותם לשנות את דרך החיים שלהם. להיות כפופים לישות עליונה, הקדוש ברוך הוא. אז שוב אנחנו רואים איך אפשר לקחת אותה סיבה, להגיד, הם לא מתנהגים יפה, ולהפוך אותו וללמד עליהם ספיק. זה באמת דבר מאוד מאוד חשוב. יהיה פה משהו שרציתי להגיד לכם. הנה, פעם אחת היה יהודי עשיר. There was a rich person, and he dealt with very, very beautiful stones. And he came to the fifth Chabad Rebbe, and he asked the Rebbe Rashab, Rabbi Shalom Dov Ber, how is it that you're inviting people who are not frugal? So the Rebbe said, these are very special people. So the rich man said, I don't see it. I can't. I don't see how they're special. I don't see that they're doing any mitzvah. אחרי זה הרבי שאל אותו, מה אתה מתעסק? יהלומים? אתה יכול בבקשה לעלות? אתה אומר יהלומים. Rabbi Rechavia asked, can you show me your diamond dealer? Can you show me some diamonds? And so he said, sure. This diamond, wow, it's unbelievable. Why is that one so nice? The other one looks nicer. So he says, oh, what does the Rebbe understand in diamonds? So the Rebbe Rashab answered, and what do you understand in the Shamas? In other words, you have to appreciate, you have to understand about the Shamas. We can't claim to say, oh, we're the big understanders, we're the big maven, and we know how it works. Never ask, why do you do it? First understand what a neshama is, how it works, how beautiful it is. And then you can go along and say who we should welcome, who we should not welcome. But if you appreciate it, אם אנחנו מעריכים את זה, אז לפני שאני מספר את הסיפור האחרון לסיום, אני רוצה להגיד משהו לימוד. צריך ללמד זכות גם על משה רבינו בעצמו. הרי הוא
הרבה זכויות.
המון זכויות, אבל גם בנקודה הזאת. We want to show some kind of special zechut for Moshe Rabbeinu also in this scenario of hitting the rock. בעצם חז"ל מלמדים אותנו שאם משה רבנו היה רק מדבר על הסלע והסלע היה מוציא מים, אז אומות העולם היו באים ואומרים בואו תראו, הוא מדבר לסלע והסלע מקשיב, הוא מדבר לעם שלו וחלקם לא מקשיבים. יש כאלו שיגידו שהוא כאילו הוא מדבר לסלע כשהוא מדבר איתם, לא משתפים פעולה בהרבה מקרים. ואז היה
יש כזה ביטוי, לדבר אל הקירות.
בדיוק.
לדבר אל הקירות.
לדבר על הסלע. ואז היה ההפך של קידוש השם. אמר משה רבינו, הוא הקשיב, הוא דיבר, אבל הוא לא רק דיבר. הוא אמר לעצמו, שווה טיפה לשנות מהציווי, ובלבד שהיהודים לא יצאו מזה בבושה וחרפה. כי אז הקדוש ברוך הוא, אז היה חילול השם הקדוש ברוך הוא. ושווה לי, זה נקרא מנהיג אמיתי. שהוא מוכן לוותר על עצמו, ובלבד שהעם שלו, הצאן, הקהילה שלו, לא יצאו בבושה וחרפה. One of the explanations of what Moshe Rabbeinu did was that he didn't only talk, he also hit the rock. Was as it says in Chazal that the nations of the world would say, oh, he spoke to the rock and the rock listened, the rock gave forth water, but he speaks to his people, there are a bunch of complainers, and many times they don't even listen to him. That would be a chilul Hashem for Am Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu gives us an example of what it means to be a real leader. What does it mean to be a true leader? It means that sometimes to change a little bit from what Hashem said. In this case, Hashem told him only to speak, and here he also hit the rock. But he was prepared to give up on his own unbelievable zchut of going into Eretz Yisrael. For who? For the rebels. For these people that he called rebels. For these people that ridicule and put him down. But the nations of the world shouldn't come along and say, oh, his people don't even listen, even our rock listens before them. It's an unbelievable thing. It's hard to understand and it's hard to explain, but it's at least food for thought. Food for discussion. Thought for discussion. That, of course, the mitzvahs have to be kept 100%. I'm not in any way suggesting Chas v'Shalom to change even one iota. All I'm saying is that Moshe Rabbeinu was willing to take upon himself a big punishment, which seems to be that he knew was coming. But no one should badmouth his people. So the first part of the lesson was things that he could have fixed. And now we're saying about a limud zchut, merit from Moshe Rabbeinu on how he acted in response to Hashem's request. He listened to Hashem. He just didn't do only that. And as we said in the beginning, that another time he was told to hit the rock. So he thought that now, in other words, I want to finish off with an amazing story. Who did the Rebbe invite to his birthday party? It's an unbelievable story. It happened in 1973. Our Rebbe, correct. בשנת תשל"ג, 1973, היה יהודי שהסתובב בקרונאיץ, יהודי אמריקאי, שהוא נכנס לו שיגעון לראש, השם ירחם, שהוא רצה להמיר את דתו ולהפוך מקום מרחמנא ליצלן. ביום י"ז אדר תשל"ג הוא כתב לרבי והוא אמר, אני מעריך את האהבה שלך לכל אדם, אבל החלטתי לעזוב את השכונה כי אנשים לא מאמינים ומזלזלים באותו איש. So this person was around Kronites, an American Jew, and all of a sudden he had this craziness that went into his mind that he wanted to, God forbid, convert to Christianity and to become a priest. And so in March of 1973, he wrote a letter to the Rabbi, I really appreciate your love and your affection, but I'm going to leave Kronites because the people here, they don't believe in Now I'm going to ask you, what would you answer to such a person? If someone wrote this letter,
You idiot.
It's one pretty blunt response. Alex, what would you say?
I tell them that we should learn some Chassidus.
Wow. היה אומר לו שילמד חסידות. יפה. כל הכבוד. להתפלל עליו. באמת, ממש רחמנות. כואב הלב. So this is what the Rebbe said. It's printed in Mutpas B'Igerat HaKodesh Chelik Chavchet, volume 28 of the Rebbe's letters. The Rebbe writes as follows: Eino nachon klal uklal, ובוודאי שאין זה רצון השם לעזוב את השם. להישאר כאן על כל פנים עד לאחר חודש תשרי הבא עלינו לטובה, באופן שנוכל לחגוג ביחד את כל שלושת הרגלים, וכן יום הולדתי, כולל שמחת תורה, וינצל הזמן ללימוד תורה ועיון בה בחיות ועד שיוכל לחגוג למחיות. The Rebbe writes like this: it's not appropriate at all to leave the neighborhood, and it's not the will of Hashem. You should stay here at least until after the month of Tishrei. We'll be able to celebrate together. It's amazing. We'll be able to celebrate together the three main Chagim: Pesach, coming up in a month or so after that, then Shavuot, and then Sukkot, at least that, and then stay for my birthday. This will include, the Rebbe's birthday is a year later, Yud Aleph Nisan, before Pesach. This will include Simchat Torah. You see the joy of dancing with the Torah. You should utilize your time for learning Torah and iyun in a deep level, in a very deep way to learn the Torah, until you'll be able to teach others. It's unbelievable. Taking a person who is already an outcast, to say the least, and the Rebbe is already basically appointing him that he should teach others Torah. It's totally a different perspective, upside down from the way a regular person would look at this. הדבר הראשון, הרב מבקש ממנו להישאר עד אחרי החגים, כל הקיץ. לא פוחד איך הוא יכול חלילה להשפיע את האמונה החדשה שלו, השם ירחם. והרב מזמין אותו לחגוג עמו יום הולדת. והרב עד כדי כך שישפיע על אחרים. מזה אנחנו רואים את האמון שיש לרבי בכל אחד מאיתנו. עד כדי כך שאדם כזה כל כך רחוק, הוא עדיין יש לו סיכוי. Even someone who's gone so far, even in such a person, it's possible to have hope in them and to have faith in them. הנה הצום שאנחנו נלמד מזה, מדברים טובים של משה רבינו, מדברים טובים של כל אחת מאיתנו, שיהיה לנו אמון באנשים אפילו הכי קרובים אלינו. We should have trust in people that are closest to us, and trust people that we come encounter with. Bezat Hashem, when we have this beautiful level of emunah on other people, then this will be an amazing zechut for Ahavat Yisrael, an amazing bracha, that we should have true Ahavat Yisrael, Ahavat Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom, Toda Rabba, thank you so much for joining us. If anybody wants to participate, I'll really appreciate it, so we can pay for the cafe and the mizonot. Thank you for joining us tonight at Chabad Rechavia at 7:30, Chabad Mincha. Tomorrow morning, I have a shir at 9 o'clock and 9:30. Don't forget bracha korona to say an after blessing for the food that you ate.